I want to turn now to James Jeffrey. He is the former U.S. ambassador to Iraq. He's now a fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. Let me just pick up where Senator Reid left off there, Ambassador. Do you think the fact that we pulled those troops out had anything to do with what's the situation we're dealing with right now?
It had a certain effect. That's why General Austin, supported by me, recommended that they stay on. We would have had a better equipped Iraqi army. We would have had better eyes on what the problem was, and we would have been able to do certain counterterrorism operations. But most importantly, it's psychological. We would have still had a stake in that country, and we would have cared more for what Maliki was doing, and we would have had more leverage to change it. Again, Senator Reid is right. This is basically an Iraqi issue with Maliki's misuse of power. But it would have been better if we could have had troops on.
Let me get back to that in just a minute, but I do want to ask you about this. There is a consulate up there in Erbil. I am told at one time there were several thousand Americans up there. Do you have any idea now how many Americans are up there?
The consulate itself would have, and I can't get into the numbers for obvious reasons, but it would have a relatively small, in the scores of Americans doing specific work, diplomatic work. But then you have the military presence. President Obama sent in June U.S. Special Forces personnel to do assessments and such, and they're operating with the Peshmerga up there. You also have hundreds and hundreds of people providing security, providing logistics, and you have a large business community of Americans there in the oil industry, at universities and other things.
So there may well be several thousand people.
There may well be several thousand Americans or people that we're responsible for.
Do you have any indication, or you see anything that leads you to believe that Maliki is any closer than he ever was to putting together some sort of inclusive government here?
Maliki will not be able to put together an inclusive government. The pressure is on him to basically step down. The parliament has to elect a new government after the elections, and it does not look good for Maliki, but he's resisting. The Shia coalition, which has a majority in parliament or close to it, have to decide on an alternative. This is going underway day and night right now.
Are these Kurdish forces up there capable of turning back an attack if these ISIS people march on Erbil?
Bob, if ISIS people march out of their Sunni Arab heartland that they've taken over into Shia, into Kurdish areas, they can be stopped by a combination of people on the ground who are willing to fight, such as the Peshmerga, and American airstrikes, such as we've seen. We've done this in Libya in 2011, Kosovo, Bosnia, all around the world, and it works if we have other people's boots on the ground in our area supporting them.
All right. Ambassador, thank you so much.
Thank you.